the flapper at 40, life has just begun. On April 29, 1965, the city turned 40, and her citizens celebrated with all the favors, including a 40-foot birthday cake. Coral Gables has developed an appearance that is preserved by rigid zoning laws and a citizenry determined to keep things as they are. Yet the City Beautiful, as Coral Gables calls herself, continues to grow and change. It occupies over 7,000 acres, mostly residential, southwest of Miami. The story must begin at the Merrick homestead. It was built in 1906 from native coral rock by the area's first settler, the Reverend Solomon Merrick. It was the Reverend Merrick's son, George, who wanted a community of fine homes in the subtropical beauty of South Florida. Merrick Manor possesses a magnificent gabled tile roof, the hallmark of the city which it inspired. Coral Gables is a product of the Roaring '20s, that heady era between 2 world wars and a depression remembered as the Jazz Age. This was the time of the flapper, bathtub gin, and runaway prosperity, when real estate spiraled to the music of Rudy Valley. Coral Gables was in the firm grip of the Jazz Age when the city was officially chartered in 1925. A good way to see Coral Gables is to follow the famous self-guided tour of the city's more than 100 points of interest. George Merrick had become fascinated with the Mediterranean Riviera. He sent artists to study the local architecture, and they returned to create a design part Italian, part French, and part Spanish in inspiration, but uniquely Coral Gables. To create a Venetian atmosphere, early developers dug the famed Coral Gables deep waterway. Its banks are lined with some of the city's most palatial estates. During the land boom of the 20s, Coral Gables was ballyhooed as the $100 million development, Miami's master suburb. Lots were sold by an army of 3,000 high-pressure salesmen called binder boys. They got their name from the binders, or land purchase agreements, they pressed on prospective buyers. The binder boys sold as much as $100,000 of real estate in a single day. George Merrick used to give his binder boys a periodic pep talk that went like this. Remember that what you're selling out here is not just land. What you're really selling is romance. The stars and the moon, the tropics, the wind off blue water, and the perfume of flowers that never grew in a northern clime. Despite Merrick's insistence on harmonious architecture, he permitted this colorful Chinese village to be built. No gimmick was left untried in promoting the Riviera of the American tropics, as Coral Gables was sometimes called. Other distinctive villages were built, including this French-style chateau. But despite these novelty villages, the overall Mediterranean harmony is complete, even down to the Spanish street names that ring through the city like a romantic Latin melody. This was the Biltmore Hotel. In 1925, it was the last word in the evolution of civilization. Its 26 stories are topped with a replica of the famous bell tower that crowns the Giralda Cathedral of Seville. One's outstanding impressions as an advertisement of the time is that one has suddenly been transported to Spain of 2 centuries ago. Today, it's the most beautiful veterans hospital in the nation. The hotel had its own 18-hole golf course. It's now a public course. The City Hall, a multi-column structure topped with an Iberian tower and bronze belfry, was copied from an original in the Spanish city of Seville. The interior of the building is like a Moorish castle. On the wall above the center staircase is a mural, Landmarks of the 20s, and shows scenes and symbols of the city's youth. In the flapper days, the center of life was the Venetian Casino, frequently referred to as the world's most beautiful swimming hole. The pool set the stage for the most extravagant salesmanship the Binder boys could dream up. It was here, clad in a bathing suit and perched on a raft, that aging orator William Jennings Bryan extolled the virtues of Coral Gables, saying, "You can wake up in the morning and tell the biggest lie you can think of about the future of this city, and before you go to bed at night, you'll be ashamed of your modesty." Every city has at least one famous landmark. Coral Gables has several. The most photographed is the towering Romanesque De Soto fountain. George Merrick's uncle, Denman Fink, designed the fountain. He also built a series of entranceways to his nephew's so-called perfect city. Perhaps the most familiar is the Douglas entrance. But the most impressive is the Country Club Prato. The Prato entrance, with its massive vine-covered lattice work and fountain, is a familiar background for high-fashion photographers. And the city carefully maintains these unique landmarks. This is the Anastasia Building, designed originally as a hotel. It became the first building of the University of Miami. To their credit, the builders had included a university in the city's ambitious development plan. On October 15, 1926, the first class was enrolled, 560 students from 28 states. Today, the university is still growing rapidly. Modern buildings filled out its original 160-acre campus. There are more than 13,000 students now. New expansion plans call for $93 million in construction. This is Miracle Mile. It's not really a full mile, it's only 4 blocks long, nor is the graceful Boulevard a miracle. But it is a product of Coral Gables' prosperity. As the City Beautiful matures, her leaders realize that she cannot continue to grow and prosper merely as a fashionable suburban adjunct to the surrounding metropolitan area. Last year, a community development department was created to bring new business to Coral Gables. But this business must be clean and quiet. Important changes have already begun. The modernistic 7-story International Petroleum Building appeared. This structure and the new Gulf Building are examples of the kind of business image Coral Gables wants. The 12-story David William Apartment Hotel was the second high-rise structure to go up during 1965. Something else new. Motels are beginning to appear. A Attention to luxurious extras like Matheson Hammock is a major ingredient in the success formula. The park covers 630 acres, about 20% of which are developed. Attractions include picnic areas, boat docks, and of course the bathing beach. Fairchild Gardens, another community asset which contributes to the image of Coral Gables, houses the largest collection of tropical plants in the United States. The War Memorial Youth Center, covering 6 acres, is probably the most elaborate and beautiful recreation complex in South Florida, serving more than 138,000 youngsters a year. The attention to youth suits the city's overall sense of direction. In the midst of a traditionally tourist-oriented community, Coral Gables stands out as being more interested in families. Promoting itself as a fine place to raise children, the city aims at augmenting its aging population with a steady infusion of young future executives. The entire spectrum of the arts, music, theater, and the dance flourish. This is Coral Gables High School, where students consistently attract more scholarship awards than any other school in Southeast Florida, and 85% go on to college. Coral Gables' old title, the New Riviera, might well apply here, where some of the nation's most luxurious homes are being built. This one was named the 1965 Pacesetter home by House Beautiful magazine. It cost $250,000. There are others ranging from modest to mansion. With a new birth of business activity and a new frontier of luxury homes, Coral Gables is destined to be the city of the future. The story of Coral Gables' growth in 40 years is not unique in Florida. What distinguishes her is the content, shape, and philosophy of that growth. It's dramatized when you think what might have happened to her good looks but didn't, and what has happened, unfortunately, to some other communities. Coral Gables has boldly met the challenge, providing guidelines that appeal to the community's economic and social conscience. With $19 million in new construction this past year, the highest since 1925, Coral Gables is securing her foundation for gracious living. For Coral Gables, the flapper at 40, life has just begun. These have been excerpts from the original hour-long color documentary Coral Gables Flapper at 40, produced by WCKT-News, Miami.